off, turn that off. So happy Wednesday. We are going live once again to answer some speaker related questions. I am Dr. Kristen Guillory. I am an aunt. I love to solo travel. I'm a professional development trainer. I am a speaker, an author, someone who makes mistakes, someone who is going to Atlanta this weekend to surprise my nephew for his birthday, and I'm headed to Greece a little while later. I am a speaker coach, and I like improv, I like to all those other things. So let's go on and get into the questions. Thank you all for sending questions, and if you watch this on the replay, go on and do #replay. Tell me what's up. Feel free to do a thumbs up, all that kind of stuff as you are watching. So here we go. First question is, how do you find speaking opportunities? Is it wise to join a speaker's bureau? So I'm going to say the question again. How do you find speaking opportunities? Is it wise to join a speaker's bureau? So how do you find speaking opportunities is probably my top three of questions that I receive. What's up, Dr. Tanya? In the top three questions that I receive. So I'm going to tell you how to find opportunities, but I want to start with that second part of the question. Is it wise to join a speaker's bureau? So it is wise to join a speaker's bureau if that's the route that you would like to take. It will never hurt. It will never hurt, but keep in mind that bureaus are different. So every bureau is different. A bureau is not necessarily going to find an opportunity for you. You'd have to do the research. You'd have to talk to the particular bureau to find out what they're going to do. What a bureau is, generally, it's like a catalog of awesome people, awesome speakers, and it has your information. It has what you do. It has methods of communication, how they can contact you. But a speaker's bureau is not necessarily going to present all of the opportunities that you might be interested in. It is a tool. If you're interested in it, it does not hurt. But here's the main thing about speaking opportunities. Now, there are so many different methods to find opportunities. I'm going to share the ones that I use. I'm going to share the ones that I encourage my clients to use. Now, I encourage people to make sure you have a stellar and amazing talk. There are methods out there that say you should email 100 people a day. I'm not going to say not to do that. There are different methods. There are methods where you can join associations, you can join other things. But if you are mindful of your talk, you're mindful of what you're saying, how you want to say it, and to whom, allow your talk to create other opportunities. Literally, you can get on stage and from one talk, you can get an invitation to speak at 2, 3, 4, 10 other events. But you've got to be clear on what is it I want to say, to whom. Do you want universities? Do you want women? Do you want churches? But at the end of all of it, you've got to be willing to work. You've got to be willing to work. There is no shortcut. There's absolutely no shortcut in this industry or in other industries. I've had clients who have been known to be celebrities. They have 200 and 300 and 400,000 followers on Instagram or different platforms. And we will have a conversation and I'll say, there's no reason that I should have more engagements than you. But what it is we have to work. You've got to be clear on your voice. Do your social media friends know not only that you're interested in being a speaker, do they know about what you want to speak on? Do they know that? If someone were to say, oh, I know that that person wants to talk about that, is that something that they know? So how do you find opportunities? You make sure that you have an amazing talk. Here's another opportunity that allows you to give back first and foremost, but is a great place to practice, is say yes to career days. Career days are fantastic opportunities for you to give back, for you to give back, for you to give back, and also for you to work on a talk. If you can get in front of a room of second graders, first graders, fourth graders, and captivate them and inspire them, you can probably do it for others as well. Here's the thing about career days. Make sure you practice. So again, how do you find speaking opportunities? You make sure that you're clear on your who, on your what, how you're going to say it. You make sure that your talk is stellar when you get on that stage. That's how they happen. Now, are there different talent associations that you can be a part of? Absolutely. Have you let your support circle know that you're interested in speaking? Do they even know? I've had clients who have been speaking for a while, but when they told their family that they were pursuing this, their family was like, oh, so you're really, really trying to do this. There's a difference between when I'm invited, I do it from time to time, and no, I want to be intentional about having opportunities. Do you let people know? Are you using your current networks? Are you using your social media pages? Are you using the contacts that you have now? But once again, you want to be clear on how you say it, what you're saying, because I believe in having a stellar talk. There have been so many times where I've spoken and I've gotten 5 opportunities from that. I gave a 7-minute talk at an event about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and from that event, I've been invited to speak 5 times. So work on your craft, work on your voice, and I promise you the opportunities will present themselves. And so the Speaker Bureau, it does not hurt, but make sure you realize it's a tool. It's a tool in your toolkit to utilizing your voice. Next is, have you ever hosted an event in another country? If you haven't, would you consider doing so? While I have been to other countries, I did host a workshop in Colombia for some teachers at a Spanish school, and we talked about women's empowerment. So the short answer is yes. Would I be interested in doing it? So yes, and I would be interested in doing more. I'm actually working with some people in another country to talk about how to do some events there. So yes, I would love to do that. And speaking of another country, while I host experiences specifically for women in other countries, so for example, we host cruises, self-care cruises. I am hosting a trip March 18th through March 23rd to Cartagena, Colombia. I spent about 40 plus days there solo. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So ladies, if you are interested in going to Colombia, check my website. There's an opportunity for you March 18th through March 23rd. Next question. My friend and I would like to host an event in mid-December. Can you provide any tips? Great question. For those of you who may not know, I have been hosting events since I was in college, but my signature events are Cozy Convos, the Speaker Boot Camp, and I used to support and work with these amazing, really big expos for girls and boys. So I have a lot of event experience under my belt, and while I'm still learning and still growing there, I do have some formulas that work. So it is, can you provide any tips? They want to host an event in mid-December. So shout out to you for wanting to host an event. Here are my tips. First and foremost, I believe that you need 90 days minimum to put together an event. 90 days. Can you put one together in 30? Can you put one together in 60? You can, but you need 90 days. 90 days from I've secured the venue. Now I have 90 days to prep. Remember that an event is much more than getting a venue. An event is much more than creating a flyer. There are so many elements. So the first is give yourself 90 days. The next is think about what is it you want your participants to learn? What is it you want them to walk away with from this event? Be very intentional about your event. Don't just have an event and say, I want to do this event to encourage women, inspire women. Fantastic. It's needed. It's needed. It's needed. But why are you doing it? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? I believe in less is more, meaning you might want to have workshops and a panel and a runway and all these amazing things, but do 1 or 2 things really, really well. The other tip I'll give around events is remember that marketing is not just about a flyer being posted on social media. That's part of it, but that's not all marketing is. You've got to send emails, you've got to have conversations, you've got to send messages, but it's not just creating a flyer. But speaking of the flyer needs to be aesthetically pleasing. The flyer needs to be clear. The flyer needs to have contact information, needs to have a way for me to register immediately. Also, when you post it online, hyperlink the registration link in the text of your email or in the text of your post on social media so people can be there. So again, you need a minimum of 90 days to fully execute an event. Remember, you have marketing. Remember, you have who's going to help you do it, who's going to be your volunteers. If you're going to have speakers, make sure you communicate with them, but do it well. There's no need to rush. Do it well. I believe in less is more. I don't mean fewer people, but I mean that you could have an amazing event and maybe you're the speaker. Maybe you're the one who's facilitating an experience, an opportunity for the participants at your event. Remember, what is it you want them to leave with? The next couple of things I'm going to review. So I want to shout out those of you who are going to be speaking at the Like a Girl conference in Lake Worth ISD this weekend. So shout out to those of you who are going to be doing that. This opportunity is something that I worked with the school district, and it's an event for girls and parents. And most of the speakers are individuals who have been connected with me, whether through my boot camp or one-on-one opportunities, because as a coach, I strive to get my clients on stage. So the next things I'm going to go over a few questions from them, but I'll say this. These tips are also for you if you present workshops, if you present a few other things. Stace, you had to postpone. Okay, I see you. Absolutely. And postponing a delay, you know what it is? Like, delay doesn't mean it's a denial. Just because we postpone doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So Stacy, make sure you still do your event. Make sure you still do it, but we want to be intentional behind it. Thank you for sharing. So these next tips are for not only the women who are going to be sharing this weekend, but for any of you who present workshops, for any of you who do any type of public speaking. I'm going to go through about 11 tips. I want you to take these into account. This is for any type of public speaking, but it's a special shout out to the 16 women who are going to be sharing at the Like a Girl conference this weekend, Lake Worth ISD. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, here we go. Here's my first tip. Do not wing it. Do not ever get in front of an audience without any type of preparation, including a career date, including a 2-minute talk. Do not wing it. You need to practice. Make sure that you don't just write out your outline. Make sure that you actually go over what you want to say. There's a difference between sitting down and here's my outline and actually standing in front of a camera, in front of a mirror and timing yourself. So first tip is don't ever wing any speaking opportunity. The next thing is have some type of interactive component in what you do. Interactive component can literally be, if you're able, raise your hand if you like to travel. Interactive component can be, I'm going to give you 10 seconds and meet 2 people around you and go. An interactive component can be things I like to do. When I say 2 claps, give me good job. 2 claps, good job. 2 claps. Good job. 2 claps. 2 claps. So if you've ever seen me or been to anything that I've presented, you know that I'm quite interactive. We get up, we dance, we do 2 claps. I have you compliment each other. We might sing some songs from high school and so much more. But at the minimum, some type of interactive component, maybe a call and response, but you need that. So don't wing it. Have some type of interactive component. The next, and this is one of the most important things, is to be you. Be you. Your presence and your story are enough. You don't have to give me hypothetical stories because your stories are enough. Be you. If you've ever seen me, yes, I'm serious, but I'm also really silly and I'm silly in class. Okay, son, what's up? Right? That's me. Be you. Give them you. When you are presenting this weekend or when you're presenting at any opportunity, give them you. Nobody else, not who you think you need to be. Be you. I believe in connecting at a heart level is one of the most important things that we need to do as speakers, that we need to do when we get in front of people. So be you. Number 4 is slow your pace down just a bit. If you find that you say fillers like ums and likes and and slow it down. Slow it down and be okay with the pause. Slow it down. Be concise with your encouragement. I believe that when we give a workshop or even a keynote talk, you want to be concise with your encouragement, but concise also means I'm going to explain if I have any explanation. So if I'm saying, I don't want you to give up. Awesome. That's concise. Now I'm going to explain how not to give up. Or when you consider giving up, but be concise. Don't give a run-on sentence with your encouragement because I might be confused with what you are trying to share. Be specific about anything that you're sharing. So don't give me, hey, and if somebody does this, no, be specific with an example. I may not know what that means. So for example, you may say, there are so many myths about counseling or so many myths about mental health. Give me an example of a myth. Give me an example. Or so many colleges are out there like TCU right here in Fort Worth. Give me an example. Be specific about your tips. compliment the people who attend your talk, who attend your workshop. Specifically this weekend, for those of you who are going to be presenting at the girls' conference, compliment the girls. Ladies, you look lovely. Ladies, you are brilliant. Yes, I love that color you're wearing. Be specific about it, and also smile when they walk in. If this is your personality, play some music, appropriate music when they walk in. I love music. I play music all the time. So play a song, but make sure it's appropriate. Make sure it's edited. Make sure it's clean. Be intentional about every single thing, which takes me to the next point, which is be intentional. I have had events. I'm going to be very honest with you, Erotin. I have hosted events, and it was an event for young men, and there was a fraternity who came out, and they were doing a stroll and a line dance, and the song they chose was Knuck If You Buck. Now don't get it twisted. I like the song. It was a workout song for me. However, in that space, I did not want Knuck If You Buck, because we were talking about empowerment, encouragement to these young men who were 10, 11, and 12, and this song is a fighting song, Knuck If You Buck. Again, I'm cool with the song, but not in that space. So be intentional about what you do. Be intentional. If you don't want anybody's back to you, ask people to turn around. When I get to my venues soon enough or early enough, or I have a team member who's there, I change the room up. I'm very intentional about what the space looks like. I'm very intentional. So be intentional about every component of your workshop. Be intentional. What are they listening to? What do the chairs look like? Is it conducive to the atmosphere that you are wanting to create? The next tip is, when you're not presenting, stay off your phone. I get we want to text and send something, but if you can, be fully present where you are. Because what I've discovered, people watch you as a speaker. People will watch you. So stay off of your phone. What's up, Aunt Jackie? Hello. Stay off of your phone, okay? Put it up, check it for a minute, because folks are watching you. I presented at an event in DC, and I went back to the main room to hear the keynote speaker, and there were a handful of people who came up to me and said, so you were watching the whole time. You paid attention to the talk the entire time. Wow. I was like, of course, why wouldn't I? So be mindful and be present wherever you are. If you're able, stay after and answer questions for the people who attended your workshop or your talk. Just stay after. Maybe someone has a question that they weren't comfortable sharing in front of everybody. Stay after. Maybe somebody just wants to come and say thank you. Stay after and be present. Be present. Be present. If there's something that you don't think went well, that's okay. Put that to the side just for the moment and be present. But if it's harping you, and if it's really getting on you, and you think like, oh my gosh, what I just did was not great, here's a challenge. Literally go to the side, pull out voice recorder or voice to text, say out loud, what is it you don't think went well? Because what will happen is it's going to swirl around in your mind. It's going to swirl around in your mind, and that's all you're going to think about. I've been paralyzed before by thinking a talk did not go well. Paralyzed. And it went well, but I did not think. So get it out so you can be present. Be present. I remember I spoke at this event, and I had 80 people in line who wanted to meet me and buy my book. But because I was so focused on, where's the person I need to connect with who's going to hire me to do another talk, I wasn't present for the people who were in front of me. How disrespectful of me. How disrespectful of me to be more concerned about who's going to hire me or who's going to possibly bring me in, rather than to be present for the amazing individuals who took time to come and say thank you, to come and hug me, to come and take a picture with me, to come and buy my book. How disrespectful of me. So be present where you are, which means you need to practice. Remember, we talked about practicing. And if you should be prepared. So you should be prepared for a technological glitch. Technology glitches happen. We know that, right? Y'all know that. Technology glitches happen. And what I want to encourage you to do is print out a copy of your presentation, just in case the technology doesn't work. It probably will, but the show's got to go on. It's got to go on, and your presentation, who you are, has got to be more powerful than what you're showing on a slide. So print out your things just in case it doesn't work. And what you can do is just present, and you have your slides here and look up and down, kind of like how I'm doing now. I'm going to recap those 11 tips for you if you're presenting in any way, but specifically to those of you who are presenting this Saturday in Lake Worth. for the ladies, and have fun with the ladies. Have fun with the parents. Have fun, have fun. Here we go. Do not wing it. Do not. Have some type of interactive component. Be you, be you, be you, be you. You are enough. Be who you are. Slow your pace down just a bit if you find that you say ums and filler words a little bit more than you would like. Be concise with your encouragement. Be specific in your tips. Offer something they can do now. So if you're giving your tips should be things that I can implement now or within the next week. Be specific. Compliment the young ladies, the parents, the women, the men as they walk in. Whoo, that's a sharp suit. I like your tennis shoes. Yes, hair. Yes, earrings. Compliment. Have fun. Be intentional about everything you do. When you're not presenting, if at all possible, stay off your phone, especially when you're around a lot of people. You want to be present. Stay after to answer questions and print off anything that you may need in case technology doesn't work. It's also not a bad, It's also not a bad idea to have your own speaker, a Bluetooth speaker, just in case. Okay. And here was a question one of the women sent me who's going to be presenting, and this may apply to some of you. I wanted to reach out to see if it would be possible to take a picture with the girls after the breakout session. I'm aware that there will be a photographer there, but I needed additional images to pitch my life skills program to schools in the future. If not, I can figure out something else that will work. I just wanted to ask. So here's the thing. Anytime you're presenting, especially to youth, you want to make sure that you have permission to take pictures. And the easy way to do that would be to contact the person who's in charge. Find out and say, hey, were there photo waivers that the young ladies and the parents signed? Is it okay if I use these pictures? And you want to ask the person who's in charge, is it also okay if I use these pictures in this sense? And if they say yes, you can actually do that. Yeah. They say you can do it, you can. And here's how you work it. You will say, and I was honored to present a workshop at this event. I was honored to do this here, and that's the picture. But you want to make sure to get permission, especially when we're taking pictures of young people. Be very, very mindful there. Oh yes, the speaker has saved me many times because technology happens, glitches happen. So again, what do you need to do to make sure that if technology doesn't work, that you can keep presenting? For these pictures, what can you do to even set it up? Okay, what can you do to set up the pictures if you need? Go and ask. Ask the person in charge and find out. And just on a personal thing, be careful of posting pictures of youth when you don't have permission. Okay, just be careful of doing that. And the final tips that I want to give, I want to offer some tips if you are ever on a panel. We have 4 amazing women who I've worked with in various capacities who are going to be part of the parent panel at the girls conference this weekend. And one is on self-esteem and one is on mental health. But generally, here are some tips for being a panelist. The first is, if you can get the questions beforehand, that would be great. If you can't, that's okay. But if you can request the questions beforehand, that's always a good idea. Not so you can have this manufactured idea, just so you are aware of, oh, that's the direction where we're going. You may not be able to get the questions, and that's okay. The next thing I want to encourage you to do is make sure that you thank the people who invited you when you're on the panel. So they'll say, and Janae, what do you think about this and this? If it's your first question, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. And then you answer. Something else for you to consider, be mindful of saying the phrase, and I want to piggyback off of, oh, they already stole my answer. They said the answer. You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that. Now, if you want to say, you know what, along with making sure you get enough sleep, great point, Kelly. I also want to add, make sure that you breathe. I want to add to make sure that you take time to pray, because sleeping, breathing, and praying are really important parts of my self-care. It allows you to share the information. They know that somebody's already said it. So along with, instead of piggyback on it, oh no, they stole my answer, just say along with, okay? Along with. Also make sure that point out, wow, that was such a great point. Wow, Brandon, that was an amazing point. I had not thought about that. You can thread in and acknowledge your fellow panelists instead of it being kind of 4 separate individuals with 4 separate talks. Thread it in. Also, here's something that's important. If you know the topic and if you know there is something you most definitely want to share on this panel, make sure that you have it in your mind, in your back pocket, just in case there's a question that doesn't come up that allows you to give that answer. But there's a chance that they are going to say, do you all have anything you'd like to say now? Does anybody have any closing remarks? So for example, if we're talking about self-care and we've talked about sleep and we've talked about praying and we've talked about breathing, and it's finally, does anybody have anything? And what I would say, if I didn't have the opportunity, I would say, one, again, such an honor to be here. I would love to chat with any of you after if you are interested. But for me, self-care is not about balance. That's too much pressure. When it's about balance, if we go off just a little bit, we fall over. Self-care for me is about rhythm. There are going to be some times and some seasons in our lives where we are just busier than other seasons. And does that mean, oh no, because I wasn't able to go work out an hour today, am I failing at self-care? That doesn't mean that. It means that I know I need to move. I know I need to do something, so maybe I do 10 minutes today. Rhythm allows us to be kinder to ourselves. So again, it's just a semantics thing, but balance makes us feel like it's 50% self-care, 50% other. It's not. There are going to be some seasons where you're like, woo, I'm resting a lot. And that's good. So remember rhythm. And that may be your thing. Like, I know I want to say that. Or if we're talking about grief or self-care and you need an opportunity to say that it's okay not to be okay, but it hadn't come up yet at the end. So what is that thing at the end that you want to make sure to say if you don't have the opportunity to add it in a question or add it to an answer? The other thing is, if you're on a panel, and this is for those of you presenting at workshops as well, make sure you have a business card. Make sure you have some way for people to stay in contact with you. If they ask you, and if anybody wants to stay in contact, I have a business card right here, and do that. And the final thing I'm going to offer any of you presenting this weekend or presentations coming up, here it is. If anyone says anything to you around the area of, wow, you were great, we'd love to bring you in. We'd love to have you present. We'd love to have you do this and this. I want you to get their information immediately. Don't wait for them to contact you. That's not up to them. You get their information immediately and you send them an email within 2 days to hop on a call and see how you can support. So again, wow, you would be really great. We really would love to hear you. Maybe it's not at the end of an event. Maybe someone has posted online. Maybe someone has said that to you during conversation and said, we'd love to have you come in. I want you to say, thank you so much. Can I get your contact information? If they don't, everybody say if they don't have a business card, literally hand them your phone, go to notes and have them input their email and their phone number. And that is how you can stay in contact. Okay. Question, is my picture on my business card? Yes. My picture has been on my business card for about 11 years now. And the benefit of your picture being on the business card is, how many business cards might we get at a networking event or at something else? And I may not remember who I met and who this person is, but I see the picture. Ah, there they are. And it stands out. So again, especially if you are a speaker, if you lead workshops, if you are even an author, if some part of your brand is getting in front of people, I do recommend having your picture on your card or on your postcard. It doesn't have to, but yeah, it's on mine. And you can see it and say, yep, I remember her. But yeah, it's on there. So again, less is more. Remember to be fully you on stage. If you are silly, be silly. If you like to dance, dance. If you use music, be intentional about the music. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's appropriate. Make sure that you have checked it and all of that amazing stuff. So with that, if I can help you in any way, if you have any speaker questions or goals and things like that, feel free to message me and we can schedule a chat. It is free. It's complimentary. I will answer questions for you. I'll tell you how I might be able to support you. But at the end of the day, you and your voice are absolutely enough. I need you to know that. I need you to know that those stories that you have in you, that personality that you have in you, and I'm going to say it with this. What I've been discovering more and more with coaching and supporting amazing people is that we are rediscovering our voice, because some part of our voice, at some time, somebody told us that we were too loud, we were too silly, we were too aggressive, we were too outgoing, and we hid who we are. Stop hiding who you are. Be fully who you are. So with that, thank you all for tuning in. We'll probably do another video next week about another topic. If you have topic ideas for me, let me know. It could be travel. It could be entrepreneurship. It could be how to work through grief. It could be about being single. Hello, anything you want. So y'all have an amazing Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. Deuces.